allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
O Lord, come to your day. Help us to make the best possible decision by this council. City of Boonville. Amen.
Okay, thank you everyone. So to start, we're going to open a public hearing for establishing tax levies for 2024 beginning at 7 p.m.
Just a quick note that the rate is 0.7035. It's the same rate that has been in place since 2022. And this was advertised in the city, so if anyone has any public comment related to the tax levy for the personal and property tax, then this is your time to say something.
Yes, ma'am. If
You got
could-
personal tax?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Well, wait a second.
Yeah. No, you're good. All right.
Okay, if no comments or questions, we'll go ahead and close the hearing. And we will begin with the normal council meeting. Let's start with roll call. Amber.
Elbert,
Here.
Venable, Davis,
Here.
Atkinson,
Here.
Young,
Here.
Yoder,
Here.
Coward,
Here.
Harville.
Here.
Hearing of citizens' comments. If you have comments, you're limited to 5 minutes. If you could step forward, sign in, and proceed.
I don't know what ward number I am. I have no clue. Hi, my name is Charlotte, and thank you, Councilman, for listening. This is Donna, and we are doing a fundraiser, and if I may, will you pass these out? Each one can have one. For the Boonville Animal Shelter. I'm a dog grandma. Do a little dog training, potty training, in the works, cleaning at the shelter. And Donna is a quilter, and she made this quilt, and we'd like to show you. We are having a man who trains police dogs come to Boonville, and it's going to be at Eagles. He paid to do the demonstration, so it wasn't any money out of the pocket of the shelter. And we just want to raise some money. The building is 6 years old, and it's time we do a little bit of upgrading, especially when it comes to bathing. Not my decision, I don't care. I just want to be a good grandma and buy something for my dog, okay? So anyways, that's what I'm here for. Anyways, tickets are gonna be on sale, and please come. I expect some of you all to be there. Come on.
What was the date again?
It's the 14th. They're passing a thing around.
Okay.
And he's wonderful. I've learned so much from him. So please come.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other citizens' comments tonight? Mary Pat?
Oh, I thought this was karaoke. I'm sorry.
And we do have the 5-minute limit, just
So no integral Rita.
Okay, we're the sip and stroll and duo here, so I taught Kenny to ride. I'm see if he's learned well here.
Got it.
Okay. I'm Mary Pat Obley and Ken Gerlinger.
Yeah, strangers.
Strangers who are co-chairs for the third annual Sip and Stroll and Rockin' and Rollin', taking place on September 28th. And just wanted to report in that we have taken around the hang tags to all of the establishments that bordered any of the streets that we've requested to be closed, and have really had some great comments. Lots of people have said they had family coming in and what a great time it was last year. So just wanted to share that with you and see if you had any questions at all. Kenny, do you have anything to add?
No, I think We're on our way to bigger and better every year, so this is the third year. And certainly have had great cooperation from the city the past 2 years. And golly, the way things never change around here, I'm sure we're going to get great. I didn't mean around here. Never mind. Digging a hole there. We appreciate the way you guys work with us and the whole city staff. That's what I meant.
Well, and we will, with your approval tonight, we will be proceeding then to get picnic license, and as the organization sponsoring the two of us, between the library and the chamber, we take care of the fees for the vendors so that they don't have to pay that when they come. And again, thank you to the city and the staff, and especially all the things that gear up that week before. If you have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to call either one of us. Thanks so much again.
Great, thank you. Yes, ma'am, please sign in.
Hi, my name is Paula Stern. I've been here a couple of times. My question is, I've seen that there's painting on the road. They've started to put lines on the road, but my question is, how was it determined to put broken lines all the way down Santa Fe to Spring Street? Because what that means is not only can you pass, but you can speed, and we're trying to eliminate that speeding. Same thing with Sombart. The whole road is broken lines. So that means you can speed because it's 40 miles an hour, and you can pass. So I'm curious as to how that determination came about. If anybody's got an answer, be great. Okay. I'm just curious about that because I don't understand why you would want dotted lines on roads that we're trying to slow you down anyway, and now you're given the opportunity to speed and pass on a corner, around a curve. I just don't understand, so I'd like to get that determination, how it was determined. Thank you.
Thanks. And then we can address that in miscellaneous if anyone would like to have discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? Okay. Moving on for the approval of minutes, the August 5 council meeting. Does anyone have any comments or edits? If not, they will stand as submitted. Okay, moving on to consent items. Consent item A, consider pay request number 2 to Capital Paving, $248,456.52 for 2024 roadway improvements.
We can do them together.
And B, we'll do these together. Consider change order number 2 from Capital Paving, $14,353.45. Roadway improvements for 2024. This is on page number, if I can find it,
6 through 8.
6, 7, and 8. Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion, we approve these consent items.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Great. Comments, questions, or discussion?
This is for Main Street, right, that they're finishing up, I think, this evening? Okay, cool.
Are we still on track with the Main Street repave this week, correct?
Today.
Today.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Drove down Main Street.
Tonight, okay.
Detoured.
Any further questions or comments?
So we're done with Main Street then, is that what you're saying?
No, they're paving tonight.
Paving tonight?
Yep.
Okay.
Roll call.
Gilbert,
Yes?
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Okay. Presentation of accounts and claims. This is on page 9. Amber?
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries in various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on August 19, 2024, the sum of $517,252.88. General Fund, $212, $557.65. Sanitation, $26,189.98. CIP tax, $8,156.47. Waterworks, $63,695.86. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $61,449.88. Tourism, $25,415.98. Gaming, $114,531.72. Parks and Water, $5,255.34. Kemper sales tax, $0.00. Economic Development Projects, $0.00. The accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $517,252.88, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage, first reading on August 19, 2024, read for the second time this August 19, 2024, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I'll make a motion we approve this.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion, comments? Roll call.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder,
Yes.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Passes, thank you. Okay, moving on to unfinished business. Consider resolution R 2024-23, suspension of the open container prohibition for sip and stroll and rock and rollin' in downtown Boonville. This is found on page 10 and 11.
I want to note for the purpose of the agenda, I think it should be 2024-12.
Do I put the number on it?
2024-12.
That's what it says on page 10.
Yeah, it's right on the bill.
Okay, also page 10 and 11, and there is also an exhibit on page 12 outlining the request.
Amber's going to read it.
Amber, go ahead.
A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri, suspending the prohibition of consumption of alcoholic beverages and possession of open containers of intoxicating beverages on city sidewalks and streets in a specified downtown area for events taking place on September 28, 2024, and providing an effective date therefore. Whereas on August 5, the City Council reviewed the special event permit submitted by the Chamber of Commerce and the Boonville Regional Library for the Sippin' Strollin' Rockin' and Rollin' event in Boonville, and whereas Article 6, Section 14-90, Boonville City Code prohibits the consumption of alcoholic beverages on the city's right-of-way, including public ways, streets, alleys, parks, and other places owned by the city, and whereas the City Council desires to suspend the prohibition of Article 6, Section 14-90, Boonville City Code within Boonville and the downtown area for the time herein specified and for the areas specifically defined in Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Boonville as follows. Section 1, the City Council hereby suspends the prohibitions in Article 6, Section 14-90 Boonville City Code within the downtown area defined in Exhibit A for events taking place on September 28, 2024, consumption of alcoholic beverages and possession of open containers of intoxicating beverages will be expressly permitted on the city's right-of-ways, including public ways, streets, alleys, parks, and public premises, and other places owned by the City of Boonville. Section 2, the suspension of the prohibition of consuming intoxicating beverages and possessing open containers shall be from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. in the defined areas on September 28th. Section 3, the suspension does not impact city codes relating to public intoxication, driving under the influence, or any other city ordinances related to intoxicating beverages. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage and approval past the 19th day of August 2024 by the City Council of Boonville, Missouri.
Thank you, Amber. Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve this resolution.
Thank you, Brad. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Drew. Questions, comments, discussion? And we can address to Ken or Mary Pat if anyone has direction or questions for them. Roll call.
Albert,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder,
Yes.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Okay, section 7, new business, first and second reading of bill number 2024-12012. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
2024-012, establishing the tax levy for fiscal year 2024-2025. This is on page 13.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, establishing the rate of taxes to be levied on all property subject to taxes in the City of Boonville, Missouri for the fiscal year beginning April 1, 2024. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Boonville, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the rate of taxes for the use and benefit of the City of Boonville, Missouri for the fiscal year beginning April 1, 2024 are hereby established as follows. The rate of taxes for general fund shall be 70.35 cents per $100 assessed valuation. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval. Section 3, all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. First reading, August 19, 2024. Read for the second time and passed this 19th day of August 2024, after a copy of this ordinance has been made available for public inspection prior to its first reading and based upon information received subsequent to the first reading from the Missouri State Auditor's Office, including final numbers and pro forma tax rate calculations regarding tax rate ceilings in compliance with Section 137.073 RSMO and Article 10, Section 2022, Missouri Constitution, all of which have been included in a notice of public hearing as provided by law. Approved this 19th day of August 2024.
Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion we approve this ordinance.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, second.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding the tax levy?
So it's been at this rate for how many years?
The last 3 years. This will
Okay.
be the third year.
And how did we figure that rate?
The auditor gives it to me.
The auditor just gives it to you?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It comes on a form, so there's, I think it's a calculation they determine based on the valuation of property and the increase of value in property versus the amount you can increase or not increase by law.
okay. So the rate hasn't changed, but has the revenue changed since assessments, you know, as things get reassessed?
They have. I mean, the rate hasn't changed, but the revenue has increased, and it also, some of that comes with increased collections. So if
And
we have a
new
better
property and
collection
stuff
year.
like
Yep,
that. Okay.
yep.
Kate, do you have an approximate amount of what this tax amounted to last year?
It did a little better than our budgeting, actually, so, I think last year we budgeted like I said, I think it was 575, and I haven't changed it, year over year, because it's been kind of around there, and I think it ended up coming in at 590 on real estate and like 185 on personal, so it came a little better than we thought it would.
A little over a
But
million?
some of that is, like I said, new property, some of it is as the assessments have come through.
And those are thousands of dollars.
Yes. And then also there's a portion, so the railroad, like we collected 37,000, and there's a portion too, like if anyone is protesting taxes, then we don't receive that amount being protested. So sometimes you'll get like a payment after it's settled, so it could be several years payment. That didn't occur this year, but just that could be another factor in the tax collection.
So you have to do this every year, do a tax levy assessed every year?
It's required by state law.
Does it always coincide with when the audit takes place?
It coincides with when the state auditor's office does whatever they do, and they set the rates, and then it goes to the county collectors and the assessors, and then it comes to us.
So this rate that's set, is this a recommended amount, a maximum amount, the amount that they say you have to do this?
This is the ceiling amount that you can do. You can roll back. The only thing about being careful, if you ever wanted to look at rolling back your rate to something less than, then let's just say hypothetically, you said we want it to be 0.7000. Well, that difference between the 0.35 and 0, let's say it didn't work, like next year, you're like, oh my gosh, we can't do that again or something. You can't go back to the old amount because you're tied to the Hancock Amendment and how much you can increase. So it could take you 10 years to get back to the 0.7035 number when you try to roll back your taxes. So that's kind of the caveat to that, is it's difficult. If it didn't work out, then you've got years where you're filling the gap with other things or cutting.
Okay. One more question. What percentage of the budget, or projected budget, does this?
Oh, 1%?
1%?
Yeah. It is a very important part, so I don't want to say it's not important, but the sales tax revenue far exceeds this that we get.
Any
And
other?
then
Sorry.
I just, at some point in time, we need to have a second title reading only,
Oh,
just by one of you guys.
Second reading, title only.
thank you, Drew.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, establishing the rate of taxes to be levied on all property subject to taxes in the City of Boonville, Missouri for the fiscal year beginning April 1, 2024.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Roll call.
So,
Oh, sorry. Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Barry.
so this is what it's been for like last 3 years, 0.7035. Okay.
I think it would be kind of cool to lower it because it's property you already own, right?
It's both real estate and personal.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to lower it.
I think if it was something that the council wanted to look at reducing the revenue, we should talk about that during the budget cycle, frankly, and make a plan for what you think it needs to be. It's a little bit harder to do it on the fly because we would need to respond to the auditor with what we're doing if we're taking a voluntary rollback.
So we can pass this today, but when doing budget, we can roll it back.
You would, well, you could roll it back, but it would take an effect for the next fiscal year, so not the year we're in now. So this is really the one taking in place, this is your 2024 rates. So if you wanted to amend it, it would take place for the 2025 rates. Did I say that right, or is it 26? It would be 2025. Yes.
2025, 2026.
Yeah, yeah. So if you wanted to, and then I would have to frankly get with both our accountants and then the state auditor's office. I've just never done it, so I would have to check into what that
So if
looks
it
like.
doesn't pass tonight, what would you do?
I think we would be in non-compliance with the state law.
Okay.
I don't know what happens after that, I'll be honest. It's never happened before.
state
Yeah, it's never happened before. And I want to say that these numbers are, part of what's tricky is we can't start the process until we get the pro forma from the auditor, but it all has to be done by September 1st. Yeah, so if the auditor doesn't get us the numbers, and then you have to advertise it in the paper so long, so if we get it earlier, then that's why some years we've been able to do a first and second reading over 2 meetings. But when you don't even get it till like, what did we get it this year, like late July, like July 18th or something, so we don't have the time. But I can't, that's one of those things, it just happens to us. We don't have any control over how that works.
So we got the auditor, Chipwood is his name, the auditor. What did he say? Did we even ask him? Or just, because I was just over reading, it says we did pretty good last year when he done the audit.
Yeah, we can talk about that earlier. Yeah, I mean, he didn't talk about the tax rate, no. It's not really what his role is in that. He's looking to make sure that we comply with the regulations at the state level, and then also using good accounting practices, and then also that we comply with any grant provisions and the federal grants when it comes to using our money.
Well, I was just reading, it said the city overall net position, net income increased by $4.5 million compared to $6.3 million prior to the last year. So why couldn't we just hold off and wait and see? But I understand that you said this is the same rate we had in the last 3 years, so. I don't.
Barry, if I can interject for a second.
Yes.
The rate that's been proposed and the ordinance before is based on recommendations that were outside of the city and comes from the state auditor.
Our accounting office has reviewed that, but as Kate indicated, this is a smaller part of our budget, but it's a significant part, and the recommendation is to remain consistent with where we've been, so that if we ever wanted to discuss rolling back, I think it needs to be done at a future time during a budgetary session where we reconsider how we do it moving forward. Because at this point, when the state auditor released that recommendation, we had to hurry up and put something together to get it in front of the council. So it was based consistent with exactly what we've done in 2 prior years. This will be the 3rd year. It's not that we've done this for 3 years. This will be the 3rd year.
At the same rate that we had for the last 3 years.
Yeah, so we haven't raised anything, and the rate itself is based on recommendations from, that trickle down through the state auditor's office.
I think, yeah, again, to reiterate, if you guys wanted to look at rolling back your property tax, we need to do that in the budget, because you would still have to figure out how you're gonna offset roughly $1 million decline in your revenues. So that's the conversation that you guys would need to have in terms of what are you going to either reduce your services, or what are we not going to do? That would be the question, depending on how much you wanted to reduce it, but that's not really a conversation for today.
I mean, I'm just looking at the state's website for the cities in Cooper County, and we're at the bottom. I mean, you've got, City of Otterville is like $1.06 per 100. I mean, you've got Bunston's at 95 cents per 100. Boonville is at 70 cents per 100, is really kind of the bottom. So I don't have an issue with this as it stands.
Well, and I think it's important too that if we do look at a reduction, when we have our budgeting sessions in the spring, we can discuss this, right? This is why we have our budgeting session. This is something that's not come up in budgeting sessions because we follow through with the state audit, as is normal procedure. And the 0.7036 or 35, if we look at that 0.70, 35, 31, 32, it's been around that number for how long now?
Since 2015.
We're talking 10 years of being right around that number, of really holding it down. So that's important to consider. But I would be for reducing it, but I do think we need to do it in the proper procedural way.
Yeah, I think after hearing all that, Andrew, I agree with you. I would love nothing more than to roll it back or get rid of it entirely at some point. But I don't think now is the time. So,
any further discussion?
I mean, that number seems pretty reasonable.
We'll calendar it for January.
Let's put that in our budgeting sessions, because I would be for it if we could start to push that down 3% a year or something.
I just don't believe in property tax in general, so that's why. If we can do something about it, I think we should.
Yeah, it's just part of the budget, so it's always, if you're pulling from one area or pushing down from one area, then do we look to make it up or do something different? So that's the question.
Yep. And I know you guys all know this, but for the benefit of it, like, even if you rolled it back, it's only this number. So the school number stays the same, fire district, ambulance district, county, those are all the same. So I just don't want people to misconstrue the conversation in January, what we were talking about.
Not benefit you, and then we'll lose a bunch of revenue money, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I mean, we just need to plan for it. If that's something that is the direction of the county wants to go, or the city, I'm sorry. We need to talk about it and figure it out, and then also look at how long it would take you to rebuild that number if it didn't work, so.
Okay, good discussion. Any further discussion?
I know. I live out in the county, so I don't know.
Roll call.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder,
Yes.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Reports of standing committees, Street, Alley, and Sanitation Board meeting minutes from August 12th. We have Jeff here. If you look at your sheet, your packet on page 14, this is a quick synopsis of what went on. So I was in attendance, so I'll give you a quick update. So we have a budget that we're working through on sewer, water, and street repair. As most people know, there are several streets that need attention, and this is one that we're trying to move forward on. You can read in the new business of the minutes, but there was a motion to repair the water and sewer lines in designated areas on all 5 roads. This is the area of 4th Street, 6th Street, Poplar, Reams, and South Street. We do the water and sewer under the ground, and then in the future, we do an overall lay for all of the street repairs, including gutters and widening as necessary, and curbs up to the new specs on all of those roads as well as a later time. The motion passed, the vote was unanimous. I don't know, Jeff, do you have anything else to add, or?
Well, I mean, you're saying it right off, what we're doing, so.
Okay.
That's what we want to vote, see if that's what we want to do or not. We want to fix sewer and water lines and then do the roads later. The roads would be patched, so it's not like they're just left open or anything, but they would be patched. It just wouldn't have the curb and gutters like he's talking about and the new road on them.
Yeah.
We just have to do them 1 year at a time. Different road every year, probably, because they're all right at $1 million, it seems like, so.
I don't know, Steve, if you have anything. I guess if you'd give your opinion on this, but we want to fix what's under the road before we put something new on top of it.
That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
So this 4th Street on here is like from Ashley Road up the hill?
Ashley
That
to
part?
south, I believe.
Okay. I know we've talked about that one several times. And I thought that was-
Yeah, also, if you look, if we had an interactive map, which I don't think we do, regarding water line issues, this is the hotspots of the city. There's other ones I completely understand, but these are some of the hotspots that we've had. I know on Poplar, between Poplar 6th and South, I think there was something like 6 leaks on those 3, maybe more, on those 3 streets in a 3-block radius. So it's a very, very necessary repair.
I just want to say, so we talked about this during the budget session, if you guys remember, and I kind of carved out as much as I could, and then we were waiting to see sort of where the lead service line inventory came in and where Main Street came in and stuff like that. So currently, in this fiscal year, although the project will not get done in this year, but in this year, we have enough to do all of the water and sewer lines, so that's $1.6 million. So we'll go ahead and have Scott get started on doing final design on that so that hopefully we can bid it in January and it'll happen sort of early in the next fiscal year. Then when we get to talking about projects for fiscal year 24-25, we would be able to earmark some money to do potentially some more street rebuild pending, all kinds of other things that might come up and whatever comes up with taxes and where you guys stand on those sort of things. So kind of we'll build that into it. I think I said at the meeting, somewhere between, I think you could figure out somewhere between $600,000 and $800,000 for a significant street repair. So from gutter to gutter and a full rebuild. So not all of the streets can be done in one chunk. Some of them, like 4th Street, is like $3 million, I think, for the streets, so it's going to take several years to get through all of that, but that's something we will proceed with. But I did put the caveat on, and I'll reiterate it here, that the only project I think that would, big project that would be my recommendation that would trump these projects would be when MoDOT comes through with their highway expansion, that I'm working with them to include a roundabout off of Main Street B Highway into their 3-lane expansion, because that is the city's most dangerous intersection for accidents, traffic flow, and all of those things. So we need to get traffic moving a little bit better. So I'm working with them on a cost share project for that area. So whenever that comes around, I don't know if it's going to be in 3 years or 4 years or 2 years, we're kind of just working with the state, but it is on their radar too. So.
Do we need a motion to move forward, or?
I mean, you guys can make a motion if you want, or else, like I said, we'll just have Scott start working and you'll see them all in the next budget session.
Okay, we'll just continue with Scott's work and then you will see these in the budget. Okay. Reports of city officials, city administrator.
Just a couple things. One, obviously, we talked about the depository bank bid. Per the discussion in the work session and the general consensus of the council, we will proceed with rejecting all bids and rebidding at a later date. So that will be the plan for that under a time at which we have a little better grasp on the new law. And then the other thing I just wanted to call your attention to, the auditors did complete our audit, and their cover page, their sort of summary page is on page 16. We did a good job this year. We didn't have any deficiencies or notes, so that is a plus. But if anybody has any questions, or if anyone wants the paper copy audit, we can send it to you.
Mayor Pro Tem, I have nothing in addition. City Clerk,
I have nothing.
City Councilor?
Nothing that I didn't touch on in the work session, so.
Great, thank you. Miscellaneous, would anyone have any discussions that we want to review during miscellaneous? Do we want to talk about Sombart Road a little further regarding the lines? We have Jeff here.
I think maybe if we can just look at it, we can powwow as a staff and sort of look at it. I don't know that we're prepared to have an answer off the cuff.
Yeah, or if you had any further things you want to add, just real quick.
Well, it's just that it concerns me,
Okay.
okay? Because now not only are drivers, because there are no signs, tending to speed, coming around corners and pass. And I just don't understand how it was determined that you would put broken line all the way down Santa Fe and all of Sombart. I don't understand. So I'd like to know how that was determined. Because I've lived in my house now for almost 8 years, and there's never been painting on the roads since I moved in. So I don't know if this is like a leftover, this is what was done before. Don't know. But I'd like to understand why.
Okay.
You know, because we're trying to reduce speeding, not encourage it.
Okay. So that's something we can discuss and then we can follow up. Okay. Any other miscellaneous? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
First, do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we're adjourned.